Did you know that the proper racket positioning, even when you are not actually doing a stroke, can help you react faster and even win points? That's what I'm going to teach you in this video. Hi, I'm Coach Kennie, and if you want more videos on how to improve your badminton game, do consider subscribing to my channel. A lot of badminton players, especially when they are just starting out, do not think about where their racket should be when they are not actually hitting the shuttlecock. But it's really important that you always position your racket with a purpose. We often hear coaches say, racket up, but really, what does it mean? Okay, it's really about positioning your racket at exactly where it's supposed to be. Okay, a racket up doesn't have one position. Okay, so let me begin with the racket positioning from a serve. So when you do a single serve, normally a single serve will be high, so your racket up is slightly lower. Why is that? Simply because as soon as you lift the shuttle, you're already in a defensive position. So being in a defensive position would mean drops, smashes to the sides will come faster. So you position your racket slightly lower so that you can take the smash, you can take the drops faster. If your opponent suddenly lifts the shuttle, you will have the time to put up your racket and go for it. So what's important is which shots come faster. That's what you focus on. So from the serve, single serve, if it's a high serve, then your racket up is just here, around your chest area. A little lower, a little higher is fine. Okay? Again, depending on your opponents, depending on what shots they like to give. So if they love to smash, if they love to drop, then you can go a little lower here. Then take the shots. Now, if you, from a single standpoint, if you were to make a short serve, then racket can slightly go higher. Okay? Because a short serve return will not go really low. Okay? Unless your serve was way too high that allowed your opponent to attack it. Okay? So from a short serve, from a high serve in singles, it's safe to keep your racket up in this area, to take the shots, to go up to the back. Okay? Now, when we speak of doubles, service for doubles, definitely you will be standing here. So on the service line, close to the tee. So normally, it's a short serve. After the short serve, racket goes up. Okay? Why is that? After the short serve, it's impossible that your opponent will immediately attack you here. So your position from here, short serve, racket up. So if it's a counter, you're ready to take it as high as you can. Now, your partner from the back will be in a different scenario. So if I was the partner behind and my partner is serving, my racket is lower. Why? Because whether it's a short serve or a flick serve or a high serve, definitely my opponent can hit it coming down. So since shots coming down will be so much faster, it's safe to go this way. And again, it's rare for opponents to want to keep lifting, especially for doubles. Because once you lift, you'll have to be in a defensive position. So person at the back, keep your racket slightly lower. Person in front, after the serve, slightly higher. So that when the shot comes back, you can press it down. You can make good counters by getting it as high as you can. Again, person from the back, slightly lower for shots to the sides. Okay, so slightly lower. If it's a drive, it's easier to put up your racket a little higher. Okay, as opposed to when your opponent pushes it really fast, you have to be ready for it. So what's important is you keep your racket in a neutral position. But if you are the type who has a hard time hitting, for example, the backhand side, and you've noticed that your opponent loves to hit it there, you can slightly favor it to the left side. Okay? Because it makes sense. When your opponent does it a lot of times, it makes sense for you to anticipate it, put your racket slightly here so that you're faster to this side. Or it can also be on the forehand side. You're here, you're waiting, your partner is serving, okay? But you know that your opponent loves to hit it on the forehand side, so instead of just staying neutral, I can go slightly here. So when it goes here, okay? But watch out that you don't like overexpose your anticipation. Because if I would be your opponent and I see you favoring one side, like you're waiting here, I'd pretend that I will hit it on this side and change it at the last minute to hit it on your forehand side. Okay, so there are many, factors when you are considering how high to put up your racket. Okay, now I don't want it also too low, okay, because you'll also be late. So sort of neutral. Your racket up slightly lower, but not all the way down, unless you're in a defensive mode. Okay, now let's move on to during the gameplay. When you are offensive means you are attacking, you're in a good position, you can put your racket slightly higher. Why? Because after you attack, it's impossible that after you smash it, your opponent can smash it back to you. So after you smash or you drop, you can put your racket slightly higher, okay? Because the return will be the same level as the net or higher, okay? Now, if you are in a defensive position, that's another story. If you are in a defensive position, whether in singles or in doubles, the racket up is slightly lower, but it's still racket up. It's not racket down like this. You don't wait for shots like this because then you will be late for everything, okay? If your racket is here, if the smashes or the pushes are slightly higher, you're also late because it has to go up, okay? It's better to keep it on the right area, more neutral from here, going this way or going up. Now, with regards to positioning, okay? So, of course, when you're playing in singles, you're running around, and then where do you position your racket? Again, if your shots go up, your racket up goes slightly lower. If you're attacking, you're smashing, you can keep your racket up here. Same concept with doubles. It's just that in doubles, one person is in front, one person is at the back when you're attacking. So when you're in front and you're attacking, keep your racket the same level as the net. Okay? Why the same level? So you are just exactly where you're supposed to be. A common mistake in front will be to put up your racket too high. If you put your racket too high, the shots will just go through you, and your partner will end up having to take those shots that pass through you. So you want to block it as much as you can. So your racket up being in front would mean that your racket is on the same level as the net or just slightly higher. Now, if you are the player at the back, where should you position your racket? The fact that you are standing front and back means you are in an attacking position. So if you are in an attacking position, that means your racket up is here, higher. After you attack, keep it up. After you drop, keep it up. Okay? Again, because if your shots are going down on the other side, there's no way that the return is also going down. Unless you made the mistake of hitting it short or hitting it slightly high, that it changes the rally. Okay? Now, if your position is side to side, okay, in doubles, if you're side to side, that means you're in a defensive position. So defensive position would mean racket up is lower, ready for those drops, ready for those body shots, ready for the smashes that you're going to get. okay, you will always have the time to put your racket higher, because if the shot is high, it means the travel time is slower, you can slowly go up. But shots that come down, shots that come straight are much faster. So you need to keep your racket in the right position. If you want to improve your game, click on the videos you see on your screen. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can level up your game and be the next smashing success.